Hi everyone, welcome to Spotlight with Suman, a platform where we showcase certified image consultants from ICBI from all over the country. So my guest for today is Jigna Shah. She's from Hyderabad, a certified senior image consultant and a soft skills trainer. She's also a trainer with ICBI. So let's look for Jigna. Let's wait for her request to come and then we'll start our interaction. Hi everybody. Okay, so hi Jigna.
Hi ma'am, how are you?
Very well. Can you see me clearly?
Yes, I can. Can you see me and hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Am I audible?
Good. Yes,
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Staying
Great.
at home is taking its toll, but we are learning.
Yes, absolutely. The same case with everybody all over the country, right?
Yes, exactly.
Great. So, shall we start?
Yes, ma'am. All yours.
Okay.
I
So,
want to
my
first say thank you for this opportunity and the privilege to talk about my story and let you also know a little bit more. You know me since a long time, so you know few of my stories. I'm going to add probably new ones today. So thank you again.
absolutely, and we are all looking forward to that. So, tell me, let's begin from where you started. Before you actually got into image consulting, what was your life all about? I've seen some of your
Okay.
transformational pictures, but I don't know exactly about your background and where you come from. So I would also like to know a lot about you today.
Sure. So like you mentioned in the introduction, I come from Bombay, a very humble Gujarati family. My mom is a housewife. My dad was a doctor. So been brought up in a joint family with like uncles and aunts and everything. And then I did my bachelor's of home science and psychology as my major from Bombay University. But then it was a very good learning. I learned a lot obviously in college, but something was still, nagging at me. I didn't want to get married at that point. So I was like, I have to still study something, right? So I started my software engineering diploma because that time computers were the in thing. Like everybody was learning computers. So I thought, okay, why not learn at least something new skill? And apparently I turned out that I was very good at it. So I built my career in it for 20 years. I've worked at a lot of international firms and I moved to US. So I was working there for a lot of startups and, uh, traditional companies.
Was this
So I
before
was a
marriage
dev.
or after marriage?
No, this is after marriage.
Okay.
After marriage, when I moved to US, I started working there and I worked there for almost 20 years in various different IT roles, starting from a developer to a website designer to a program management. And then we moved back to India. And I was working here at Hyderabad at Microsoft for almost 6 years. And one day I was just switching to the channels and I saw your photo and the ICBI ad on the TV. And I was like, yes, this is what I want to do because it takes me back to my dressing and psychology and the fashion designing and textile designing that I did as part of my course in my bachelor's. And so that's how I decided to at least go do a demo class at the ICBI Hyderabad Center. And it was fantastic. Shashank sir took the class and I was enjoying myself. And I was like, yes, at least if nothing else I can do this for myself, right? Just to groom myself. And, I wasn't even thinking at that point to start on my own. But then as I went through the course, I realized that, yes, this is exactly where my passion lies, is helping others and, improving myself throughout. So that's where I took the plunge and started this full time.
In
So
fact,
yes,
that is what
ICBI
I was
has.
very curious about. That how did you decide to get into image consulting and soft skills? Although you were a part and parcel of the so-called computer, computer digital world and Microsoft and
Correct.
all those kind of things. So, what made you transit from that zone to this zone completely, and how did you decide to take a plunge into image consulting and soft skills?
So I was always interested in helping others. Even when I was working in IT, I've always been a role of a mentor and a coach for all the junior members in the team or peers that who find difficulty. So this kind of resonated with that. And then I honestly I had enough of the corporate world and working so hard for somebody else instead of for myself. And being a Gujarati, business and freelancing and entrepreneurship is in your blood, right? So I spoke with my dad, I spoke with my father-in-law and my husband, and everybody was like, yes, if you want to do it, we are here to support you. And then I took the plunge because, like you said, leaving a job which is constantly giving you that income and that security is a very difficult and a tough choice. But thanks to support from everybody in the family, and also ICBI gave me that much knowledge that I could, take that plunge. So that's how I decided that, okay, it's time to fulfill my passion and my dreams instead of, working for somebody
I can
24/7.
understand. I can understand your family sentiment because I am also half Gujarati, so I can very well understand what they must be.
Yes.
So tell me something, Jigna. I mean, there were a lot of time. There was a time when people were running behind traditional careers, but the trend has gradually changed, and the reason why we actually ventured into the image consulting space also was because people were looking forward to something else other than traditional careers. So now, since the trend has changed gradually, I mean, do you think more people are venturing into entrepreneurship?
Yes, I think more and more youngsters and even people who have been in a steady job are looking for fulfilling their dreams at this point more than anything else, right? So any of the image consultants who even join us, for example, in ICBI, are actually looking to do something beyond just a paycheck, right? They want to fulfill their dreams, they want to live out their passion. And a lot of people are now aware of what they want to do. When we were in school and colleges, we didn't know what we wanted. We just did what our parents or cousins guided us. But nowadays, people are more aware of what is out there in the industry. And also, if you want to give back to the society, or you want to be an innovator, or you want to try out ideas and take risks, the job does not give you that, that little room that you need to start doing the innovation. So if you're an entrepreneur yourself, you can try on a lot of different things. And I think that's where everybody's mindset is going. And nowadays, even in school, they have started doing this entrepreneur course for teenagers so that, they can come up with brand new ideas and think about breaking the barriers and reinventing things. I think that's where the trend is. And I'm happy that I'm part of that trend because I also get to learn a lot of things and implement things that I would have probably not been able to if I was working for somebody. So I think
So
that's where the
basically,
trend is going.
entrepreneurship is all about more than a paycheck, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
You still have to work hard. Obviously, it's not an easy thing. I mean, a lot of people jump into it and then get frustrated because they had certain expectations which they cannot meet in the first 1 year or 6 months. But doing something on your own is going to take longer. But you have to put in the hard work and dedication. You can't just give up on something because it got hard.
Entrepreneurship is almost like a child that you have to raise with a lot of responsibility.
Yes.
If the child goes out of your hand, it is you who will suffer all your life.
Correct.
So that's the way. I mean, you have to treat entrepreneurship like your own child.
Yes. You have to pamper it, you have to water it, you have to take care of it, because every small mistake you do could lead to a failure, but then you have to learn from that failure also. You can't just give up and say, oh, I failed, so now I don't want to do this anymore. That's the key. Like, you don't do that to a child, right? If child does something, you teach them and then you grow with them and help them grow. Same way, it's the same way you do your business or your entrepreneur or freelancing or whatever you call it.
So who all are there in your family, Jigna?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? It got disconnected.
Who all are there in your family?
So I have a son who is 20 years of age, and he's studying pure physics in University of Texas at Austin. And my daughter, who's named Shrishti, who's in 11th standard right now, doing CBSE, and she plans to do her major in psychology as of right now. So crossing my fingers, one of my child will follow my path and maybe take over my freelancing someday.
Absolutely. So tell me, what kind of assignments have you been undertaking, and has pandemic affected you in any way? I mean, in your work, has the work got impacted in some way or the other?
Yes, so pandemic has definitely affected. Initially, it was March and April where I was relearning a lot of things, because most of my workshops and trainings that I do follow this adult learning principles and accelerated learning principles. That means it is very activity heavy and role plays and exercises rather than just PowerPoint presentation. So now when you go to the like online, I had to relearn how to do those things in the virtual setup. So yeah, March and April were very slow. May it started picking up a little. I got smaller assignment with few companies, and now I have a flow of work because I figured out how to still conduct my training the way I do offline, even online. So that has actually helped me personally, and also I've been doing like personal consultations, and I've done corporate workshops, and also open workshops that I conduct, which is open for all, and like body shape and face and makeup, So I keep doing open workshops. So yes, now I am pretty busy, but yes, initially it did affect a lot because it's totally new. It affected everybody, right? Even though there
I
were
think
clients
that
who
was also a transition phase where people did not actually know how to deal on a webinar mode or on a online mode, that
yes,
kind of a thing.
correct.
But I think this
Yes,
pandemic has forced us to become more technology savvy, and now we are
yes,
absolutely comfortable with it.
correct. Even when I was working in IT, I was used to doing the calls and conference calls, but actually teaching online is a totally different ballgame, right? So that is what I had to learn as to, okay, how do I conduct my color class, or how do I do my body shape analysis with the client with whom I cannot go and do anything. So I had to relearn everything. And obviously I was taking a lot of ICBI classes, and that also helped me to start thinking on, okay, how is these classes being conducted? That helps me in my personal consultations also. So those classes definitely help in learning how to do the same thing online.
So is it like a
I would,
rocket science to learn to train people online?
not now. Now that I know how to do it, it's not a rocket science anymore.
So now
It
you're
was
comfortable.
overwhelming at the first. Now I'm very comfortable. Yes, absolutely.
Great. So tell me, what kind of so share with us some interesting client experience. I mean, could be from the past that you've dealt with and you found that experience to be the most interesting one. So we would like to hear from you about that.
Okay. So all of the client interactions are always interesting because the clients come from very different backgrounds. Like I have had a lawyer, a high court lawyer in Hyderabad. I've had clients from the seed industry, right? The international seed, where they do research and R&D for the seeds that goes to the farmer and everything. So I learn all the time from the clients and their industry. But my favorite one is actually the one that ICBI helped me get for Apollo Med Skills, where one of the candidate who was representing India was going to Russia for the World Skills Competition. This is kind of similar to like what we have beauty pageants, but this is skill oriented. So India was having about 59 categories, and one of this person, she was in the nursing category, and Apollo Med Skills was sponsoring her. And thanks to ICBI and the trust that you had in me that I could handle it, it was a different experience, I have to say that, ma'am, because I had to learn first what are the scenarios that she is going to be dealing with before I can teach her, okay, this is the communication, or this is the body language, or this is how you should be standing or talking. Because she was, so the whole concept was that she is a nurse and she has to handle patients, right? So she has to be emotionally intelligent to handle it. She has to be very empathetic to them when they are in pain. And so I had to first sit through all the 50 different scenarios that she would be judged on in the competition, and then help her in those things, the softer side of it. Technical, she knew, she was been in the nursing industry since 5 years, so technically Apollo was handling it, but the soft skills is what I helped her. And then of course grooming and etiquette, because she was going to represent India at an international forum. So she had to learn how to, talk to international participants with her, or, eating, drinking,
And she
diet,
won some award,
cutlery.
right?
Yes, and she won the award. She won the, I think, best nurse award from a particular region, if I'm not mistaken. Some gold medal on that award she got. And along with ICBI, I got appreciation from Apollo MedSkills also. So that kind of, touched me a lot, saying, okay, I was able to groom somebody who's representing my country at a international stage. So that kind of boosted
So
my
this,
confidence
so let me
to
tell
do
you that
this
this was also recognized by NSDC.
in the good place.
So this was also appreciated by NSDC, just for your information.
Oh, okay. Nice. Thank you so much. It's all your trust
Yeah.
and Mr. Agarwal's trust in me that I was able to do this, ma'am. That is definitely the case.
So tell me something, Jigna. I mean, has there been any moment of regret where you felt that, you were better off doing a job rather than, getting into your own entrepreneurship?
So I will tell you a little anecdote here before I give you the answer. One day I was just sitting with my dad. I was visiting him in Bombay, and he suddenly was talking to a friend on the phone, and they asked him, "कि Jigna beti kya kar rahi hai aaj?" So my dad's reaction was, she's actually doing what she was thinking of doing when she was in 8th standard. I didn't understand what he meant by that. So once he hung up the phone, I asked him, I said, "Dad, why did you say that?" He's like, "Since 8th grade, you wanted to become a teacher, and now you're finally doing that." So that made me think that, okay, Gol Ghum ke, ultimately I have arrived where I was supposed to be arriving. What is the purpose in my life? So yes, absolutely no regrets. I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing. I learned a lot, especially when I take an ICBI class, because every student or the participant in the class comes from different backgrounds. So I learn a lot from them about how to handle that kind of an audience. So for example, if an audience, one of the student or participant is a lawyer, then I learn about that. And then when I have a lawyer client, it is easy for me to connect. So absolutely no regret. I'm learning every day something new about some new industry. So I'm fulfilling, and my dad is blessing me on that. So yes, I'm absolutely enjoying what I'm doing.
Fantastic. Do you believe that image management and soft skills will always be in demand despite economic recession? And if you think so, then why?
Yes, it should be in demand, is what I feel. And now the demand is also increasing. Since the day I started to this 5-year journey, I have seen that people have started realizing how important this is. Initially, people didn't know what I was doing, so I had to explain them a lot. The 30-second elevator pitch was not working. So it took a while for people to understand. But now, yes, everybody understands that not only appearance, right? We do a lot more as an image consultant. We do talk about their inner self, we talk about their soft skills, we talk about their body language. So yes, image management is definitely necessary. And now with the virtual world, the rules of engagement have changed. It's not the same. People only see this much of you, they don't see the rest of your body language or anything. So everything that you appear to this has changed, and that is why people need to like relearn how to conduct themselves in virtual meetings. So yeah, with the pandemic it was a little slow, but I think now everybody's, and if you see online, right, there are lots of YouTube videos on how to have how to read body language or facial expressions during Zoom meetings and all those things. So yes, it is going to pick up again, and it is already picking up, I feel. I'm getting calls, at least 3 calls a week, to see how can I help them in their corporate workshops, or for a personal client and things like that. So yeah, I don't think it will ever go away, because as
I,
human
I
beings we have to interact. So it will
I
be
have
there
interviewed.
always.
I have interviewed almost about 8 to 10 people in during this pandemic, and what I have realized from my conversation with them is that the work is only increasing because now they're not limited to one particular city.
Correct.
So the whole globe is their, a
Yeah.
place where they can pitch their business and, get clients out of the entire globe. I mean, basically,
Yes.
a lot of people are also getting international clients, which
Yes.
was a limitation before the pandemic. Although, I mean, pandemic is not something which has happened, it is definitely a very serious situation. But the best thing out of this pandemic is that a lot of our image consultants have got a lot of, innovative kind of assignments, which is
Correct.
definitely a clue which indicates that this is definitely a recession proof industry.
Yes, absolutely. I actually used to, like, on the same line, I have been limited to Hyderabad city because I don't travel so often. But now I have got clients who are sitting in Vizag or Vijayawada, and they're contacting me. I have somebody who's sitting in Ahmedabad or Baroda right now, my friends' friends or cousins' friends. So yes, it is absolutely helping because this is bound, like you said, it is a global clientele now that we can tap into. So yeah, there's always a positive side to something. So.
Absolutely. So, what difference has image consulting and soft skills training brought in you personally and professionally? And how do you think you have evolved in your personal capacity in last 5 years?
Okay. So most
I
of
have,
my
by the way,
friends.
I have seen some of your pictures where you look like a typical Gujarati. Uh, some of your, I think, Instagram profile pictures or somewhere I have seen, I don't recall where, but you look like a very, very typical homemaker Gujarati kind of a lady, and you have completely transformed. So I don't know if the
Yes,
credit goes to image consulting program or you have evolved just personally on your own.
it goes to the program to make me that I have to evolve. Let's put it that way, right? Yes, but you're right. I have changed. My co-workers who were there with me in Microsoft are still my friends, and they make this comment every time they see me. You keep changing. You look different today. What are you doing? Your behavior has changed. The way you talk has changed. It's just because of the course that actually I have implemented it on myself so that people can see that this is worth learning. Even if you don't want to start a business like how I did, it is just good for your body and your soul and your growth to become a successful person, right? You need to know how to talk to people. You need to know how to dress when you're presenting a particular program or you're talking to a general manager or a CEO. You need to know how to talk, right? So yes, it has definitely helped me personally. I could tell so many stories about how my dressing has gotten me the business class in the flight because I was looking like a proper, very professional dressed and everything. And also how fast I get called into the hospitals. Also when I'm standing there, they'll say, ma'am, please come. So yes, those things that we learn actually work in the outside in the world. People might think it does not, but it does. And yeah, in the 5 years since I've started, I have grown a lot. I mean, my mindset has been more on the determination and the positive. Like every time I feel something low, I'll read up on something that has affected me, and then I'll find a quote somewhere that will help me, or I'll read Judith's book, or I sit in Rakesh sir's seminars even today, right? I mean, I have learned so much already, but every time I sit, I pick up some nuances that I might have missed to run my, and then I go tweak it that way. So yes, absolutely. The whole point is you have to keep learning. That's what I feel. Everywhere I sit, I learn something. Like even if it is 10% of what that person is saying, I'm able to pick up. I will definitely evolve in my business and as a person. I try to implement that with my daughter, but she's a teenager, so it's not working well right now.
It
But
doesn't
we'll see.
work. It
Hopefully,
doesn't
she'll
work.
pick up.
It doesn't work with children.
Yeah.
Especially when they are your own children, it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. I keep telling her, I said, people come to me, pay me to help their teenage daughters and sons, and look at you. She's like, Mom, don't talk to me. I was like, okay. So, yeah.
So, Jigna, what are your future plans? I mean, is there any vision for the next 5 years?
Absolutely. I want to build a team of other image consultants and trainers because I have started realizing that I'm a biggest blocker in my own success. Because if I have 5 clients and they want the same time, I cannot scale up. So my goal is to actually, work with other image consultants, whether it's in Hyderabad or across the country. Now that we are open, anybody can just do a conduct workshop. So that is one of the visions I have. And then the other is I actually want to open an image studio. And I think we spoke about it last time when we met, that I want to open an image studio where not only me, but other image consultants can also bring their clients, so that the props and the demos and everything is set. They just have to bring the client, show them all the different variations of color schemes, and the collars or the cuffs or the neck pieces, everything is already there. So that's my vision. Hopefully I can get it started. Because of the pandemic, I had to kind of put a break on it. I was already in the process of starting it, but now I kind of have to reel back a little. But yes, I'm still going to go for it. So hopefully
Great. So you
that's what
have
I'll
a
do.
very clear vision and you are definitely going for it for sure.
Yes, yes. In fact, right now I do work with a lot of our ICBI participants and students. They come, and especially in Telugu language, because I'm not fluent in Telugu. If I have a client who needs Telugu speaking workshops, then I do call upon our students themselves, because they understand what we need to do, right? It's easy to groom them and teach them, because they have already gone through the same process or the certification course that I've gone through. So it definitely helps. So I do work right now, but I work with them as a freelance. So whenever they do work with me, obviously they get the payment and everything. But I want to actually hire, like, full time with me. So that's the goal at the end of maybe another year, hopefully.
Fantastic. So we come to the last question, Jigna. What message would you like to give to those who are exploring image consulting as their second career?
This is a must for everybody. And I'm not saying that because I've done this course, but I'm also saying that even if you don't want it as a career, it is a must for you to learn to change yourself so you can be successful in whatever career you are in right now. It is also a good second career, because no matter what industry you come from, this will still work for that. For example, like I was giving, right, in the ICBI class, we have various people. There are 15 students sitting in the class. At least 10 different people come from 10 different industries. But they can still, so even if you come from IT, you could be a lawyer, you could be a fashion designer, you could be a housewife, you could have another business. But these skills that we acquire in image and soft skills will apply everywhere. So if I can give an example of one of the students that we have in ICBI at Hyderabad, she has a very thriving business of trousseau and gift wrapping and packing. Right? She does it for the brides and the grooms that hold the trousseau, the dahej mein jo bhi dete hain, and all those things, right? And the first day she came to the class, she was worried कि सब लोग corporate trainings की बात कर रहे. I don't know how will I do that. So I told her, you don't have to do corporate trainings. You already have your clientele of all the brides to be and the grooms to be and their family. You give your image services to them. Do the bride styling along with the gifting. So the point is that everybody who comes can build on their previous experience in this industry. I've not seen any other industry that you can do this on. Right? If you come from IT, you cannot just go and become a lawyer. You have to study, and then there'll be a break. Here, you just pick up from where you left. So I think it's an enhancement career rather than a second career, I would think.
I
So
think
yeah, if anybody,
if you just attach this skill to anything, that particular
yes,
skill will enhance, by itself. So
yes,
that is, it's not something which is like a standalone, although this is a standalone skill also, but this can
correct,
also be prefixed, to something which you are already doing, or it could be just independently executed like you are doing now. So I think
right,
it's always a win-win situation if you are an image consultant and a soft skills trainer, whether you are an existing professional or you're planning to leave your job and start something of your own, or if you're doing something absolutely fresh in your life. So it is applicable
yes.
to everybody, and I think everybody can immensely benefit out of it, right?
Yes, absolutely. I keep pushing my daughter also to learn something with me. So I make her sit with me when I'm doing some programs. And I said, okay, just sit and listen. You don't have to do anything. So she does sit sometimes, and I hope she picks a little bit. At least it will change her as a human being, if nothing else.
Absolutely. So tell me in the end, although I've asked you the last question, I mean, what is your everyday routine like? I mean, you're balancing your life with your children and, with your work and your home and everything. So what does your life look like every morning till evening?
So are we talking about the pandemic routine? Because I am everything in the house at this point.
Absolutely.
Right. So yeah, I get up, do a little stretches, do some exercises, and then do my skincare routine. That is like a must for me to do. And that actually I've learned through ICBI. Before that, I was not very. I used to take care of my skin, but I didn't really have a routine, right? I mean, I was blessed with good skin from my grandmother, so I didn't really worry about it. But after we did the course, I suddenly realized, okay, no, I need to start worrying it at some point in my life. So I do my, basic skincare routine and everything, and then we do breakfast, and my daughter sits for her classes, and I start doing all the household chores because we're not calling maids yet. And then I start to work, right? So till 1 o'clock everything is done, and then from 1 to 6 I'm working. Either I'm talking, having a client session or a corporate session, or I'm working on writing an article or creating a post, because I do all those things myself. And creating a programs, I create a lot of signature programs, so I kind of keep myself busy if I don't have any client session. And then again in the evening, dinner, and then spending time with my daughter. So we sit, and she does fashion designing and psychology, so I kind of help her in that. And then I'll tell her, okay, this is not the right way, this is the right way, and she'll give, this is not image, mom, this is just fashion designing. So so we have that kind of discussion, and then that's kind of end of the day.
Great. So Jigna, it was lovely having you today.
Thank
This
you
was, I
so
think,
much,
for the
man, for
first
having
time
me.
that this was the first time that we interacted at length and understood each other quite well.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it was great having you and getting to know that you're doing a lot of work in the corporate as well as with one-on-one clients. And you have a very strong vision to look forward to. And I'm sure that you will definitely be successful in achieving what you're aiming for. So thank you, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Hopefully, we'll see you in person soon when I come to Bombay.
Absolutely, absolutely. I hope so too that we are able to travel soon and meet each other.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much,
Great.
ma'am.
All the best.
Thank you.